Welcome back to Madam Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dan Arning, and shall we see what's going on a lovely island Fawnhollow today in a rather snowy, the day in Fawnhollow today. I guess that's what's going on. But yeah, it's actually quite snowy here in the UK. At very least, so of course not all over UK. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it's all over the UK, but in a reasonable amount of areas, and certainly where I live, in the UK, it's been rather snowy. And then I know if you live in Scotland, you've been like it's snowy for like the past 3 months or something, which is fair enough. But it's actually a little bit surprisingly unusual to get this much snow, I suppose, so early in December here, in, at least where I live, but we'll talk about that in a second. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhollow, 6:10 PM on Monday, December 12th, 2022. Oh, I need to clear my throat. Excuse me. So I guess snowflakes are starting to fall in Fawnhallow. It's an amazingly well-timed season for it, I suppose. But yeah, it's not that common to see so much snow early in December in the UK. At least my own personal experiences, living kind of like in the south-ish area. It's sort of just yeah, most of the time it kind of snows a lot in January and February, and so we haven't had a white Christmas since quite a while, I think. But it might not be true, by the way. We might have actually legitimately had a white Christmas in recent years. Or no, wasn't that last year we had a mildly white Christmas or something, because of thin layer frost? But this is actually legitimately about an inch or so of snow, which is not a huge amount. If you live in Minnesota or something, you'll be like, that's nothing. But it's surprisingly quite a lot here for England, because in England we're not particularly well equipped to deal with snow a lot of times. And you might be like, are you well equipped to deal with anything? It's yes, we are well equipped to deal with mildly cold and wet weather. And that's about it, because you might get the wrong sort of impression, well, maybe the right sort of impression, I suppose, depending on how you look at it. From when I talk about it in the summer, the fact that all our houses are basically insulated to keep heat in, so when we've had really hot summers recently due to climate change, and probably climate change, rather than just a freak abnormality, it's been unbearably hot inside because we don't have air conditioning, we have double glazed windows, we have brick insulated houses, all just to keep heat in, which is actually fine in winter. We're actually much better suited, I think, to deal with the cold and to deal with the hot. It's just we're how do I put this? Maybe it's when we go outside in the heat, we're okay-ish in the UK. Inside, we're not as well adapted. But it's inverted in winter. Inside, we're well adapted to keep heat in, keep things warm and toasty. But then when you go outside, we're just atrociously not well adapted. If you go down main roads and that sort of thing, you'll see the roads are cleared. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as the inverse, I think, of indoors in summer. I don't know even why I'm talking to you, but no offense. But things snowplows do. I haven't seen a mega snowplow or anything, so I don't actually know. What I've assumed they've done is, at least from when I'm younger, well, from my experiences when I'm younger, is that they use grit salt to melt the snow. They get I used to. I don't know where they are anymore, but on a house I used to live on when I was younger, there used to be a grit salt tub. It was this yellow sort of I can only describe it, kind of looks like a dumpster bin, that sort of thing, but a bit smaller, and it had a giant black bold writing on it that says grit salt, and you open it up and then it's just literally just gritty salt. I don't really know what else to say. It's just sand, dirt, crushed up rocks and salt, and then it was just tossed down onto the pavement of the roads, and it would cover the roads in all this gravelly sort of substance, but also melt all the ice and snow that was on it, probably to prevent black ice from freezing onto the road and causing undue traffic accidents, or personal accidents as well, if you walk along a pavement and slip on ice which you can't see. Yeah, so grit salt, I don't know if they still use it. Actually, amusingly, yesterday I did see while I was out on the road, I saw a grit salt truck. Yeah, truck. Was it yesterday? Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Maybe it was a couple of days ago. I can't really remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I saw a grit salt truck just sort of driving around, and it made me think, be oh wow, I haven't seen these grit salt things for ages, because it also used to be there used to be that grit salt tub container thing in train stations on platforms. I don't know if they're still there, to be honest. At least I haven't noticed them. They might be. I genuinely can't remember. But I haven't seen them sort of tossed around on the ground, on the platforms, or that sort of thing, all that recently. Sometimes I see them on stairs. That's about it. I don't know if they've upgraded the grit salt, so it's like much more invisible instead of being like this very sort of like strong copper color, which is very visible to the human eye. I genuinely don't know. But yeah, I don't actually know how common snowplows are in the UK, to be perfectly honest. Like I don't think I've ever seen a snowplow just sort of like driving through a road. But maybe it's because they're up very early, sort of probably clearing the roads. And you might find that a bit weird, but I guess that's just sort of a norm. Also, like things like snow shovels and people clearing their driveway. Like I've never seen someone. I've seen people clear their driveway, but I've never seen many people actually genuinely have a snow shovel and like clear it on a regular basis. I suppose most people don't have snow shovels in the sense that don't have like enough snow to really warrant buying one, don't have like necessarily a driveway to even clear in the first place. We have a lot of garages, and I don't mean garages in like petrol station sort of garage, or I can't remember which way around it is, or like mechanic sort of garage. It's more like literal like garage to store a car in, like a room to store a car in. I don't know why I'm explaining what a garage is. I'm pretty sure most places have garages. But I don't know, like it kind of depends where you live, whether driveways or garages are more common, and I suppose it kind of depends more how far into suburban life you live. At least in my area, a garage is quite common. And so are driveways. So a lot of people like also do just like park their cars on the road and that sort of thing. So I feel like that sort of like bypasses the need to clear the driveway all too often. But I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. Even when I was younger, I haven't like really walked around like. Well, I mean, when I walked around in the snow when I was younger, I haven't seen people like bust out the snow shovel to like clear out the driveway or like clear the snow off the roofs or anything like that. Because I know. At least I understand that as quite a common thing in America. Like, there's, clearing the driveway is something which you see in every sort of winter Disney film or something. But it's literally never a chore I've had to do. And I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure people do it, obviously. It's just like, I haven't seen it all that often. And grit salt seems to be very much a way to go. The way to go with it, I suppose, if you need like large areas cleared of ice, or at least for sort of like the public service way to do it, I'd imagine. I don't really know like how it's done. So I was on the roads yesterday, or saw the roads yesterday. No, today. Yeah, today. I was getting all the days confused up in my mind, I'm going to be honest. And it was just like, the sorts are just amazingly clear. As soon as you get off at like the small roads, the small roads are just completely snowy and icy, and it's pretty scary, I'd imagine. People don't have winter tires or anything like that, which, as I understand it, are sort of just like tires with chains on them to get like extra grip, I think. I don't know how common that is in America, but at least it seems to be a thing in Canada, as I understand it. But yeah, I don't know, grit salt. Is it still a thing in UK? Has it been like, not outlawed, but people don't use it anymore in favour of other things? Gritting salt. Grit salt container. Yeah, there we go. Literally just search UK grit salt and you see these yellow tubs I'm talking about, which is the bold words grit salt on top of them. A mini salt grit bin. Seems like there's a lot of different types. This is a one I've seen. It's one with a logo. The logo is in like a little oval shape for whatever reason. That's the one I always see about. But I don't see them anymore. What is this blue grit salt bin? Cursed. yellow or nothing. This is what I've grown to know. Also, what's the Google Doodle for today? Maria Talks. Fair enough. Don't know who you are. UK grit salt. Like I haven't seen one of these bins for ages. UK grit salt lorry truck. Grit and salt spreaders. Oh yeah. This is it. I don't know. Are these like snowplows combined into grit salt spreaders? Because if that's the case, I've never really like put that together. Because I was gonna say it, and I felt I was like, maybe that doesn't actually make sense. I was like, maybe we should put like grit salt on like the garbage trucks or something for winter, so when they go like pick up like trash or whatever, they can also simultaneously salt the roads. But that doesn't really make sense, because then like I think the rubbish men have like enough things to like collect up and sort out already, but adding another sort of wrinkle into their job description is a bit much in the first place, isn't it? They're already doing they've got enough going on. You might as well get like specialized. If you're going to have a specialized service, you might as well have a specialized job for it, I suppose, in the first place. I don't know, actually now I think about it, this is a good question, because obviously you don't need grit salt lorry drivers all year round. So it can't be a specialist job unless it's a seasonal part-time job. What do you do for the rest of the season, like the other season when it's not snowing? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Probably the answer is people who work as like lorry drivers also can like pass like maybe like another examination to be able to drive the salt grit things, and then they could just do that seasonally because maybe it pays better. I don't really know, to be perfectly honest, how it goes, but you know, you see them sometimes if you wake up super early, especially on like winter mornings in the UK, these giant yellow sort of lorries, trucks, things, just like a mound of salt behind them. But I don't know, I feel like I've not seen as much of the leftover like grit salt on the ground anymore, you know? Like, I feel like I'm imagining it in my childhood. I'm picturing like my childhood home and the road and seeing that like sort of coppery sandy colour of salt and grit scattered across the road, and being like, nah, but it's not the most like aesthetically pleasing thing in the world. Oh, Amelia, you are ill, let's go get you some, let's go practice medicine. And being like, it's not the most appealing thing in the world, but you know, nowadays, you know, I suppose it's, did we have salt grit trucks when we were younger? I don't know. But I guess it makes sense to combine it with the plough and the salt grit truck. So, you know, you get the plough, gets all the snow out of the way of the road, and you get the salt grit truck which lays down the salt, I suppose, in the first place. Not in first place, in the second place, if anything, to prevent any more ice from spawning on there. Which is weird to think about, because I'm not really sure how that works. Because isn't it salt and ice makes things even colder than they are, right? Like there's that like ice and salt, ice challenge, salt challenge, I can't remember what it was called, way back when, where people were basically just, don't do this, by the way, because this, you can seriously like actually like give yourself like a cold burn or something, so you know, bear that in mind. They pour like salt on their skin and hold like an ice cube up to it, and it would just basically, what it does, it goes sub-zero, like way below sub-zero. I don't know, we didn't even sell that thing, I pressed the wrong button, because we used to do that in science class when we used to need to create like a cold bath or something. You put you make an ice bath, but then to make it even colder you like throw salt in, and it would just like, for whatever reason, it just freezes it even more. So yeah, don't do that. You're gonna give yourself like a freeze burn or whatever it's called, like ice burn, whatever, I don't know. It's just dangerous, you know. Don't do it. I don't know why it became a challenge. See, that's a challenge you can actually criticize, you know. But as opposed to the Tide Pod challenge, which, you know, like 2 people in the world or something even did, like the ice and salt challenge, like a ridiculous amount of people ended up doing, and you know, giving themselves like burns. It's weird to call them burns when they're ice burns, but I think that's a word for it. Freezer burns, isn't it? Something like that. Anyway, that's not a point. Salt grit. Like, it's weird how that works, because, you know, salt and ice makes them colder. You would have thought more ice spawns, or like it would be like a nuclear, not really a nucleation site. That's not really how ice works. For salt, but like, it's just somehow the combination of grit and salt. I guess it's just like the ground is so, it's not like it's hot salt grit, probably. At least if it always, that seems like an incredible waste of energy and an incredibly inefficient way to actually prevent ice from spawning. I assume it's just, it makes the ground too rough for ice to properly freeze onto it or something, and I'm not really sure how it works. And maybe this is a good chance to actually look it up in the first place. This was really strange, by the way, because if you don't know, like I've mentioned it before, I basically like switched around like how my set up my monitors again. So now I'm back onto my middle monitor again for actually playing games, and looking to my left for other stuff, but it's weird. So how, not just refresh the page, how does grit salt work? How does gritting work? Okay, let's see. Gritting. Local government association. Who is responsible? Highway authorities. Okay, makes sense. What are the legal duties? That seems boring. Why doesn't council grit all roads? Because they're not responsible for all of them, and it would cost too much money. Fair enough. Simply too narrow or too steep for grit lorry to navigate. Okay, fair enough. Supplying local grit bins for residents. Wait a minute, those local grit bins were local grit bins. I thought they were for government use. I didn't realise that. I had no idea that you could just reach in there, like get some grit salt for yourself, and, you know, just like scatter it on around the driveway yourself or something. I guess that makes sense. If it's for government, because you see, you know, just to justify a little bit, I thought they were like, you know, the equivalent of fire hydrants, where, you know, the grit salt services people will come along and use that grit salt bin to do whatever. But I guess that makes more sense, because it's not like the grit salt bin is tied up to like It's not tied up to like some underground system of grit salt pipes, like fire hydrants are, which can be tapped into in an emergency. Also a fun fact, fire hydrants are very different in the UK and the US. In the US, of course, you have the classic red fire hydrant poking up from the ground. In the UK, they're underground, sort of like signposts by this like tiny yellow sort of stone sign. Most of the time. Sometimes they're above ground. I have seen some above ground, but not many. UK fire hydrant. Yeah. But it's got like this yellow sort of like sign, and it's got like a black H on it. And that's where you find fire hydrants. Completely different, ain't it? It's weird. Because of course, if anything, it goes sort of like to show the Americanization, I suppose, of culture and that sort of thing. Is that I've seen these yellow H's around when I was like younger, and I never realized they were fire hydrants until I saw a video about them or something. Like the only way I pictured a fire hydrant was like a red fire hydrant that you see in America, and I always found it strange being like, why are there no fire hydrants? in the UK, we have them. They're just underground. Anyway, can someone be sued? No, I don't care about this. How does it work? How much grit counts? How much do we use? 1.2 million tons. My word. Costs £30 to £40 per ton. I just want to know how it works. Technical questions. What is road grit? Most common material is rock salt. Oh, it is actually just rock salt. It's not like a combination of other things. I guess rock salt is salt and rocks. It's all combined with grit. What is grit? And grind up the salt. Hold on. What is grit like? An actual technical definition? Is a personality trait? No, not that sort of grit. Oh, it's like a part of soil. Soil. And link. Wikipedia. What is grit? Sharp sand. Builder's sand. It's coarse grain, gritty sand. Alright, fair enough. Can have an attraction and grind up salt. Rock salt is a brown colour because it's unrefined and contains impurities, so it's often referred to as grit. There you go. Wait, what? Rock salt is mined from underground mines. It can also be combined with grit, but it's also referred to as grit. What? What is what? I don't understand. How does gritting road work? Grit works by lowering the temperature at which water freezes. It lowers the temperature at which water freezes. It lowers the temperature at which water freezes. Does that make sense? Is that why it makes ice cold as well? Do those two things go hand in hand? Also, what on earth, Biscuit? You didn't even give us a recipe. You're probably being like, wow, I haven't spoken to you for ages. Is that a question? How grit salt work if salt makes ice colder? Saline solutions freeze at a lower temperature than water. Oh, it's making a saline solution. And since it freezes at lower temperature. Okay, so actually, technically, it does nothing if it's too cold, I'd imagine. Interesting. Why salt makes ice colder? Because salt prevents melted water from freezing. Salt makes ice colder because salt prevents melted water from freezing. What? And that makes it colder somehow. Melting is endothermic. Which means it uses more heat than it gives out, right? From freezing. Oh, okay. I didn't realise that's how it worked. So these do go hand in hand. Okay, so the reason it makes things colder is that it prevents water which is already melted from ice from refreezing again, which would take heat out of the system. But that melting process is endothermic in the first place, so it keeps things cold in that sense. And it also simultaneously makes it freeze at a lower temperature. Really? Wow. When you add salt, the freezing point reduces, so ice melts into water, which is an endothermic reaction, so it makes things colder. Maybe? I don't know. There's not enough time to read this properly, but, I feel like I've maybe learned something right now. Anyway, grit salt. We used to have these grit salt bins everywhere. I haven't seen them for ages, but now we've got grit salt lorries. Maybe, I don't know if it's a substitute. But that's it. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Darling. Likes, comments, discussion, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter and Discord down below. Hope to see you again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.